asem kase a asi e wo Ghana obia edi hu nkomo ene se yete won yete se yese containers bi ayereyera numbers na adichin bi yesesa almost over 1003 ECG containers a cables wo mu a yese ni nyina machines gumni ade ayera ye ka container nso a enye kasaketwa ne ye ka ho asemu container ya ade a ubetimi ede eye ka be 3 anase 4 awuram container ho nkomo ne yedi no container ubetimi de no ma mebere aguma fra buru kiraba container na container maako 1003 ECG hu nioma egum ayera ewo eye port ho na me kaise me ko me yire panyini ho ewo eye habo port ho na de wi omusi check me kura ansa na mawura mu enya asem ketwa na eye den na eye saa ade yi container yi etiminya ataban na etu ewo wiem na container ne nam wiem se kwa ahomachi o se kwa wiaw ene obi anim ho asem container ye sema enya milk konko mpacho enya milk konko asema ye kan ye container enye se eye milo konko container aitimidi ka ewuram ayira ewo eye habo how ede ne balisa na emfonyini nam abonten a etwa gui nam se ade wedi anwoten ebede na timesisa ene ama menye searches na menhwe ne de pan na kofa nsem bu nyina de baaye na me searches mu na mehwehwe me ne omai na me kopiepie videos ahodo mebie so ene nkomo a omudi ede fa saa nsem bu ehu na so no ade omo kan di anwoten na edi asemwa won say dum so ekoso wo Ghana wenye dum siesiu weye dum so edum na so edikania na edum na so no eno ehu materials ene yakofa abase nke betima boa ama kania na timagina so na anye dum so na emom betima aye na ejina so saa no eno ana sese ya me kasei dum so ya wo hwe wo screen so isi ya na ekwo Ghana tuntunta me pacho se light dundum se ya agent min to kantamanto se light edundum se ya me pacho agent min to adum se light edundum se ya agent min to obi fia na se ya na eyewu dumso saa ana manfo etwa ede to abonten na ya hwehwe mu no na container etimanya ataban na etuo no afri habo ho no according to news we kire se ye papa ginapo ene oba abonten ene oba kirechire mu ene o kire mu container na yesi na container na yesi na ko yesi na we kofa we ba na we ko yesi nkomo mebiri na akoso yentie Ghana fo no bi omuri ayenwom omoto dumso omuri ayenwom a omoto e wo Ghana enya asem ketwa
the real definition of dumso we need the real definition of dumso no so na dume eduwa na say Rade boy you Ghana separate I separate kai sana dume na say Rade Bosume baku bosume Separate dumsa
etiabusiafo ne se yawo ene okopie mu wo Ghana sakrpa dumso na ye amudi ayenwom omoto a chese ekoso enya asem ketwa ema hospitals akese ewo eye Ghana kura no se ya ye kase ye wo na mo hwade
This is Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and it's darkness everywhere. This is the main maternity. Imagine if a surgery is going on now. Can you imagine? The whole place is dark, and strangely, the plants are not working. This is the maternity, the main maternity block of Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which have been hit by Muhammad's doing so. Can you imagine? Oh, Muhammad, this is Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
What I say? As I say, I say Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Who you dum containers a nke betimi edi akofa nkanea edi aba ani material se de bia kanea begina so no containers yi ene nam wiemu yedi ataban ahye container no nkyɛnkyɛn na atuo mako 1003 ekokora ano odin iti Ghana for dwene ho mo ntia se ace na se na ade yakɔ edi ene na ano odin enkɔfo tama mahama aba mu di hu nkomo mahama ba adum so beba ampa adum so aba medwene ho amentia se ema airport o minipa bia kodu airport omo gina ho mo twon bag o ma se fon te prr se krr fon na nu so adum azi ya kase omo so adum omo gina ho machine ntimi nye afina ye be so plant ama omo a eho nyine enam se na ade ne anu ayedin o ene na anu ayedin ye dum hospital ni edum airport ni se ba bia dum a enya asem ketwa wo de muti ebusiafo enye izo ye dum ba bia ye dum hospital ye dum airport ye ba bia ye dum na machines o mbetimi dia so ade ya no yi ama tanto to we nyina to atwa na nke etimenya light am na gina so yi ana machines sese ye kase onu so atu na muwiem mako 1003 plus eno so na muwiem eko se ho ane de ataban ne ma no se ho ane man tu ye obi anim ho asem minister energy minister ewo abonten a wono wo confirm na papa na sem wo kam yam hyeme me say Jesus Christ asem wo kan e dangerous o say containers 1300 den plus ayera na watima ya ho press conference nsa aka me kwanka mekama no atum kama ye dimi nka ho asem kra 1003 plus container efa he eno no obi na tamli bo na chitu ekoi menti asem na se ede na timi yira bacho mbete mechi ase mo amoye container adwuma amo abulu kiri momfa mu nkire mo na munnim animde ho container ye de na timi yira ya na ye sen mako ta entre na yira ye no ho asem te sen papa e ba abonten obe start no gina po oba abonten be chichi mu kire Ghana fo na akofa nsem mu nyina de aba no obi a wonim figure okokotu sai den se wonim se ade na wo ka ho asem no uye 100% say chale ade ni senate a ukodi hu nkomo ayede ti nkomo obedi yeti.
No, these are not empty containers. Yesterday when we visited the port, these are containers loaded with materials, cables and other accessories. ECG has not been able to clear those containers, and so as we speak we have 2,500 containers stuck there and stranded, and as they stay there it attracts a lot of penalties and demurrage. And yesterday the briefing I got is that so far the demurrage alone is estimated at 1.5 billion. See, this is unacceptable. 1.5 billion cedis. This is unacceptable. The first question is that what led to this untenable situation? Why would ECG adopt that bundle?
What you say? Container no ba bontin be catch the Ghana for say 2,500 containers. Wodo okohunu isi ho. One be kan you. Tie komo na ye Captain Smart ne Kevin Taylor ma ba bontin a omo say ade na MPP for na bisa say enti nipa adwene na ho asem te sen. Adwene e de nipa bi emutiri mu no. Enti mu ntimi enye research kura no a. Enti mu nko Facebook keke na mu type. Say Ghana ECG keke na emma mu information keke. Na nipa timi tena se ehye wo ntoro no mwasan age adi papa ya wo ka sei enyam na me ye ni minister o menim ni ba bia menim anso ye minister na me hu so o ye Ghana for ye minister na menim ni ba bia ono na e kana asem sei ono ba ye no 2,500 containers ena na nani etua ono na e kan 2,500 containers na nani tua according to papa yi now okopie mu e wo parliament okoka asem foforo e wona mbuza se na unni asem bi ho ejina ya o ka ho asem yeden yedin aya minim ho hwe wa ba bonti se 2005 ene wo pai e wo e fe ne sen habo ho ana se port ho 2005 no ma confirm here and you magum say dim esi ho una okan ukojina parliament nso a ti asem okokan parliament.
I visited the Tema Harbour. Mr. Speaker, we have about 3,000 containers stuck at the Tema Harbour. 3,000 containers, most of which contains transformers. We took over.
Ti asem ni yo. Ono I visited. Eti Captain Smart no Kevin Taylor mo nkomo mu di mo amo minim brofo na we brofo kakra bi no simple. Me visited me makoho visited. Wakoho akohunu 2005 no kan no. Eno asisa wo. Te say de ono akoho no wakonya 3,000 a transformers ni machines gum say dim. One be ka che Ghana fu ono na anante akoho akohunu. 2005 na asasa 5 na kwa san be kan ho. Amana ye 3,000 containers on ebe catch the Ghana for. I visited. Nas obi ba bontin be catch the say ade we yira last year na MPP for na ye ya no obi say what is asem we a waje di no aden. What is asem we a ugidi ye no aden. Entro na ye mo desem matie entro sem na mo fili keke anase say nipa no wo ka say na kan wo se me na makoho akohunu 3,000 zisi ho. Ono na eka na asem eni.
I visited the Tema Harbour. Mr. Speaker, we have about 3,000 containers stuck at the Tema Harbour. 3,000 containers, most of which contains transformers. We took over. I visited the Tema Harbour. Mr. Speaker, we have about 3,000 containers stuck at the Tema Harbour. 3,000 containers, most of which contains transformers.
What you say? And obeka we to abontin. Say transformers no 3,000 NC ho. Enye 2005 bi mu 3,000 street. Afide wo ho figures bi odi aba abontin so ni. Say containers no na ye 2,491 containers. Am say papa ni figures na no obobo ana say galam say na enkofo ebedi hu nkomo no ma hye da kofa wi aba na. Question me busa comment ase. Usi first 2005 afide abe 3,000 ade chin ya obeka asem afide o say 2,491 containers. It is a figures now obobo no rough sa one e de ma no one e kasa asem na kire no eno so so no akasa sa wa bra wa parliament o akọ ya capture e parliament o Ghana parliament akọ kasa ansem bu nyina to o betina abonten afide o say
ECG itself presents as containers held at the port, 1,491 containers. ECG itself presents as containers held at the port, 1,491 containers. ECG itself presents as containers held at the port, 1,491 containers.
Ebusha formatting. Containers no afede ye 2,491 containers obubo figures ni bia no akwakoda o kasana na afede every 2005 every 3,000 afede abedi 2,941 2,941 kwa na aka no
1,328 cannot be accounted for. That is very serious and that's very alarming. And I assure you, we would conduct a detailed investigation into this matter, and somebody or some people will be held liable for this. 1,328 containers cannot just vanish into thin air. 1,328 cannot be accounted for.
It will differ from Bacho Momuncho. First one, 2005. Fatu for comment. Me Bacho Yen ye bekan, Munina Momi Yankan. First time they saying 2005 and woko huye. And woko parliament. And woko parliament no was sans wako hubium after the year 3,000 and wako akupiso. Or Bab one tia or Becca so see 2,941 and after the ababidru. And the chinya was 6,328 aira. Now question is say asama no wo kano enti ni yaman shinikakra. So containers 1,328 ajira. Enya se ye nhunu se bi esi habo hona bia numbers na sesan ajira. Sa kasa we yetimi kan wo ekire Ghana for se mabetena se ka container ajira. Enya ba akupe 1,328 ajira. papa nsɛm obɛka yɛ chi nyinaa na nkɔfo atimi atenase asan hyehyɛ adwuma ɛde abrɛ Ghanafoɔ sɛ Ghanafoɔ mmra metie ampani ampa ne nuane ampa na Ghanafoɔ asan agye ntoro asan adi mabusa sɛ aden ana nipa te ate hɔ a ɔso wɔ no ko ade ontimi news wɔ no na dwene mfa ndwene 2 seconds kora da bia yɛn hye ne ntoro yɛn twa ne ntoro nko a de kanyina ntoro nko a ɛne yɛde hye nipa ne nipa agye di obɛki kan san nsɛm wɔ nyina aboronye ɛna bɛtena na 2 TV ɛna obɛka kyerɛ Ghanafoɔ ade kropɔte a ɛyɛ saa ɛyɛ containers na fa aboronye ne bɛte saa di wi
bia ba 1 saa cable no enoma electricity transmission ne distribution no emani ye easy ema consumption so ye dey e reduce ema etua electricity ye dey e wo fam nti cables na ba ye bele ema nkania tuma ye adwuma ye ema ya transport kania in the easiest way no ya sand meter ba eye meters ya European Union na recommend say member state for use some meters no ya send the smart grid machines na do abanya kraba no eye machines ya eno na ebe monitor electricity consumption na sana adjust aka kire say fahafo yin electricity minua eniema amabobɔ so nyina na nado danko akofo ado abaya tan Ghana sika ama yakɔtɔ aba no MPP aban na tuaka o ya tua bibia ama cables na beduru meters ye papa ebema because the current meters no say na manfo complain say the consumption is high. And na danko akofo ado akokra smart meters here. Consumption so ya obi abetuma to electricity at a cheaper price.
And I could say, sir, we container one seven okay.
Yes, na kadi asem
about 1,300 plus containers.
Ni na yesi atu kwa bokena.
Container no.
Container na tu kwa bokena.
Na container won tabai.
You misa man nura. Ya handing over the assault mon saw. Say 1 meters ya yede mamu say mon fama Ghana for na no ne be reduce electricity a efie bia ye yusu na madu akrasa meters number uko Germany eno mu yusu uko Netherlands eno mu yusu they pay electricity at affordable price.
Abusiafo mummy yan kanokore ade bo ho a obi be kan wabonti ko wose etietie na yaase o container timi ayera e wo se nipa na yaase kwa na ebetietie na yaase edna container sei etimi etu efiri baabi to atiase na ba be wura eye ade anim eni sa no mane o mano edna container timi yesa Edna container etimi yesa. Container etimi yesa. Container tutu ayira 1,300 senkura ma ai ma mefa ohin mana na agima wo say 1,328 ayira containers o etimanya ataban atu enkomo no ne say eye den ne timi free port wo kora eye den ne timi free port wo na kwabrane age adi na Kevin Taylor abetena bonten e kan kire Ghana for se sa asem wie na asi na ono ankasa de nani akohu a wo kan ho asem akire ye no Ghana for ti magic Kevin Taylor asem a wo kan adi se eye MPP for any wi ade no.
Over 1,300 ECG containers missing at Tema Port. And the Abeto Jan say 1,300 ECG containers tele 40 feet tele 1,300 ayira. Excavators 2,500 party his car. Now, do you know what they are doing with this story? The MPP are quick to go to market. Executives ni nyina ashada to ogum. Oh, and this for 1,300 containers are anytime I just said this platform, it's very important you stay here every day because there's nothing here you be kai yemfa ngina so ma. The NPP under Bawumia and Akufo-Addo Sankwasiafo during their tenure in office, ECG problems on Muko Muni Nyinano, Bawumia Akufo-Addo and NPP for way, it was deliberate. Containers are a carry a ECG equipment are ye de bebo Ghana Kanya Honsemo bra. Ediama yen Kanya Semejina and also ama ECG generating revenue at Ghana no. Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo and Bawumia and NPP Nyanwe 1,300 containers ni nyina yiraye under their tenure. Time Akufo-Addo teso and
ne nipa timaji sa asem wedi minister yin so bai ono ankasa confirm so na ni akwa akohunu sesi ho ade chia mama Kevin Taylor etimachi na TV so ashimo montro amama je edi se Kevin Taylor information asem a work nipa oye minister no Bradi Nyankopon a ono no daade na no aba abonten abeka se ono ankasa akoho akohunu say is 3,000 afili 2,500 afili 2,400 den afili say na akwa yira ono ankasa wu aba abonten aba abeka no obi atuna TV so aka cho say entesa na another time na yiraye ade su container su kra na abronye so che say afili yakra kra aba bedura eno so omode ba beboa ma dum so na hu anwan na ye adwuma ana ayira Kevin Taylor kawie na so hwa o ena Captain Smart nsusum was my catch was Kevin Taylor and Captain Smart omuntimi nka eye NDC fo asem danke be bu omo bruta Ghana o enti the NDC be ye bia na wo so omo bona ba so Kevin Taylor wie ya no dane baton no eno de share captain sunsem di onu so
ECG Accra 2,500 containers. Any container Ghana 14 you any container one o any 10 any 100 any 20 any 50 container no any 300 any 500 o containers makum 1,000 1,900 2,000 2,300 2,400 2,500 containers. Yes ni na ira whatever habo ewo we bibini bibini nipa o but winning bibini emre bi abesi kola se wa te sa asem no come ni evidence. I was just trying to get something na me see we me nkoka ojai but na nya me one so because aban we na excavator it be two and before catching Mahama say and confirm it two. But Akufo-Addo abem na ya first excavators 10 20 100 200 kind courtesy Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng
akwa we me so onum unim red me yeso say Captain Smart onum bi me yeso so onum bi sa nipa we a mudi na chi me ha me okay boys na maso adintin anyway boys na so adin anyway enukure baaku mfiri akwa wia no mad entronkoa into one captain oni ayi Kevin Taylor epese e kire Ghana for say sa eye enioma na ayira wo habo ho no anase port ho no last year na yira ayo MPP fo ne wi aye gina ponso ka se oso akwa akohunu se esi ho na afere okọ obiem ni se na enim Captain Smart obi onu timi swa cement eso de kosi cathedral okona tija na afi wabetena bonti no say di o matem za akwa we kan asma na mudi nachi entronko a ono Captain Smart ni betine kwa buruchire kwa jiji nkofu sika so okoto ambulance no akwa akudi wono it wake us we expose obi anamuti no eso mbusa say jinkan expose wo ho obi ensuo ato ama ka tai ewo soro no no mumawura tai na se akwa we kan asma na majinadi entronko a ontimi nka bibia NDC time captain ontimi nye Captain Timin criticize NDC da komba ko bono on studio mo ya de open asema esi obi aka yeze de ya jimifo ye de enim nyansa na de ta wo agu kon ho ana abetena TV so ana wo kan che Ghana fo se asem na esi na obi a wa adwene da ne tirimu a wo dwene ho no wo de wo adwene amana boroso amfe de one Kevin Taylor say ade ne yira NDC MPP for time and afi ni Mudiana,
Bagana, let's have us say now, not my way, no. Well, you are telling me, sir, me feel back of a matter like a free war. Bono crowd to bench. That was in containers over 1,300 and something containers. But could be worth about $500,000. What's the IRF report? What sort of stupidity I can't go in here? I don't get it. Say, what's it? Container. Hey, containers, pot.
Obi no beti sa asemi ase se container esi port etimi etu ayira obi no beti sa asemi ase me pe Ghana ni obeti mate ase keke Ghana ni obeti mate sa asemi ase se container esi port wa maako enye se ba pe 1,300 plus Ghana ni be ni beti mate sa asemi ase ajira enye si ye hu se si ha o ajira ye hu ba bi e wo se ya ye ka sei omakofa omachi containers no maako 40 ginapo na na aba beka wo so wache 40 na 40 no wo chi ko oma wie 40 no na India ni bi na akodi ni nchen on story omu create ba e be to say when the MPP fo na wie na omu ko ma India ni bi na wo dem hu the story be kwa akoye enko ba bia.
The minister himself should be investigated.
Oh, send everybody.
Yes, the minister, in fact, the investigation should start from the minister himself. The minister should tell us, do you know who your man confirming say 2,500? Okay.
And they multiply 1,350.
And then about $600 million.
$75 million. Value of containers are.
Obi, it means name konkoye business as usual.
Yeah, because when they say intimate, and a container they say
yeah,
40 foot
be business as usual.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, Obi. It's obey
$675 million business as usual container.
Obi.
Hey.
And you see
in 40 foot container.
And make him send me my credit pay. You see, and make him say, you be slave minister.
No,
you make just say yes. No, because we be support us when you any more time have that process or people go through and send where you near my idea piano. And your process get to also be catch up container. Say employ empty container crana. And ya the kit wo. So be right time habo. No ma container so dey pay. Now even catch up inside.
I am happy say Minister Akase criminal investigations would.
The minister himself should be investigated.
Oh, send everybody.
Yes. The minister, in fact, the investigation should start from the minister himself. And Shedanyamadi here can say be done on the floor of Parliament. Where Hazard has been captured.
Yes.
You have captured Hazard, Mr. Minister confirmed, he said you have about 2,500 containers a year, electricity company of Ghana for Edia.
Sure.
And also could be worth say $500,000.
And container between $350,000
to $500,000.
500,000.
So on average you can have about $400,000 for each
pick the upper ceiling because it depends on your
and
you can pick the upper ceiling. If I common, I used the upper ceiling 500,000.
Okay.
And I then multiply 1,350.
And then about $600 million.
$75 million. Value of containers are
Obi, it means name konkoye business as usual.
Yeah, because when they say intimate, and a container they say 40 foot
be business as usual.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, Obi. It's obey
$675 million business as usual container.
Obi.
Hey.
And you see,
40 foot
and I make him send me my credit pay. You see, and I make
Ebusiafo. Me yam crash me. Me yam crash me. Container. Ajira. Hey. Na Ghana yi boko de. Container. Enye milk konku. Enye milo konku. When you cowbell our milk container 1,300 plus ajira just like that. Minister Babu and Tiabe Dinkomo. Now according to minister or say omati matching nkofu bi ona ekam ona de story aba first one oba abonten asem wo kae efa ho eni.
So what happened is that during the transition, as part of stock taking, the MPP side of the transition indicated that they had about 3,000 containers stuck at the ports, and they were struggling to clear those containers. So that is it. At the transition, they gave us 3,000.
Okay.
Then on assumption of office, I visited the port myself to see for myself the extent of the situation. And when we went to the port, ECG indicated they contracted some private companies to clear their containers. And they had cleared about 500, there was about 2,500. So I felt a bit alarmed. 3,000 figure, 2,500 figure. So I said, look, let's set up a committee. Let the committee investigate, one, circumstances leading to those containers being held at the port. Because we don't even have to have 100 containers stuck at the port. Not even 100. Two, what we can do about the demurrage, which was accumulating and was about 1.5 billion cedis at the time. And then three, and more importantly, how can we clear these containers? And then four, any other related matters with respect to procurement. So there was a 3,000 figure, there was a 2,500 figure. And then when the committee started this work, officially, ECG gave them a figure of about 2,490 thereabout, so about 2,500. And so the committee itself decided that they would do a stock taking of the containers so that they can verify the veracity or otherwise of ECG's claims. Because bear in mind, there was at 3,000, 2,500, and now on paper about 2,490. When they did the actual stock taking, they submitted the report to me yesterday, and the committee chairman was categorical that about 1,300 containers could not be accounted for. On ECG's official documents, those containers were supposed to be at the port. But when they went to the port to verify, more than 1,300 containers were missing and could not be accounted for. So that is what I have to say to you.
So this 1,328 is out of the 2,490, supposedly?
Exactly so. Exactly so.
Wow. Collins is just telling us that there was no way these containers could have left the port without the tacit approval of ECG. Do you agree with him?
Well, that's possible. So where are the containers? It's also possible that there's some collusion. In fact, what alarmed me and I got national security to intervene, we had two situations where ECG containers were intercepted by some police officials, and they're even investigating.
When was this?
This should be about a month ago.
Where?
This should be about a month ago.
Where were these
around
containers?
The Pong area. Around the Pong area.
Around the Pong area, okay.
The Pong area.
Okay.
And so when they intercepted them, about 10 or so of them, national security got involved. And so national security coordinator, with my approval, thought that they should secure all the containers so that we don't have these challenges. Because sometimes, even not to doubt anybody, even when people claim that they are helping ECG clear the containers, you never know where they will end. But the record keeping is so bad, there's so much collusion. And so what we have to do now is to launch a criminal investigation into this matter.
Okay, it is here, I say, offer a jinapo, aloje a criminal investigation, at the aba a matter ya, that why ye came. I was see or case was see a timia kwa jima 40. Oh, India ni biho.
I got this morning, and let me comment the national security operatives and the law enforcement agencies. The information I got this morning is that already they've traced about 40 of them to a particular terminal or warehouse in Pung, which belongs to an Indian man of extraction, and they've confiscated all the 40 containers, and they are moving them to a secured location. The man indicates that those containers were sold to him last year, and so that's a subject of a matter of investigation, and law enforcement agencies would ensure that the law takes its course. There are also reports of some other areas that they are picking intelligence. They will trace all of them, retrieve all the containers as soon as possible, and put the perpetrators before the courts of competent jurisdiction. Let me just sound that when we start prosecuting these people, let nobody come to say we are witch hunting. These are properties of the states. Every legitimate and legal means to ensure that we retrieve them and to hold all those behind these acts to account. And so we'll continue to work hard and ensure that we retrieve all these containers. Picked up this Indian in connection with this.
Okay, it is a bushing for more containers no according Indian in chain. They say no more just somewhere baji mo container na two akwa di Indian ni bi nchain. A free a habo Indian ni bi woni fie sa hu an se container bi awuram fie ho. A container no kura taban. Enu tu bae. You see here cause container 14 yes mo 40,300 something plus no. Mo nyamu 40 no de akodi Indian ni ho a oni India for no e de press wo ho a enya asem ketwa. Say 2 ye, say memo ye, say fa asase say fa hin eto de mo ankasa mo Ghana ho. Ubetimi no comment egu comment section